Hello everybody, welcome to another pre-recorded video. I thought I'd bring you in and show you this, maybe do like a little mini series on this particular one. I seem to be getting quite a lot of these in. I think this is the fourth one I've done now. It's the ICF-PRO80 from Sony. It's a pretty wideband receiver. It's got this quirky little frequency converter. I'm not really a fan of this thing, to be honest, this frequency converter. Basically, I think it's a 115 meg shift, and it uses the FM broadcast band to give us some coverage up to 223 megs, because normally it only goes up to 108. So basically, this little thing will get us on VHF, airband, that sort of thing. It ain't great, to be fair, but you know, it does work, and it does give this a bit better capability. So this is a bit of a strange story, because this one I initially got an email from a customer in Spain saying that he had a Pro80. He'd seen my videos and would I be happy to look at his for him. It had already been got at, apparently. There was some traces damaged in it, and somebody already recapped it, and he wanted it just basically stripped back and recapped again properly. So I said, yeah, no problem. Gave him my address, blah blah blah, and anyway, about a week later, this turned up. I thought, that's pretty quick from Spain, but this isn't the radio. It turns out that he'd actually bought this from eBay in the UK and got the eBay seller to send it on to me, which that's fair enough, I suppose, but he could have told me, couldn't he? But so yeah, this is a bit of an unknown. Apparently there's audio issues with this, according to the description. So it's a case of getting this apart now, and we'll give it a test first, really. I think that's the best bet. I can test this with a power supply, 6 volts, centre pin negative. So let me set up for that a minute, and we'll see what it's doing, if anything. Okay, here we are all set up. I've got the power supply in the side. 6 volts. Let's have a look. So there's a few things that can be wrong with these. We could have issues with the volume and squelch pots on the top here. These break down inside, and the little wiper comes away from the plastic holder and just rotates around in the pot. Now, I haven't had a Pro80 yet that's got that issue. The construction is exactly the same as the Air 7, and there's plenty of those that I've done. It's the same pots that are used in the Kenwood amateur radios, so I've done a lot of those. So it could be those collapsed, causing issues. But the main problem that I've had with all of the ones of these that I've done is leaking electrolytics. SMD electrolytics on the board, and they do make a mess of the board on this particular one. I've had all sorts of problems getting these sorted because it is pretty small in there, and one of the main problems is the electrolyte that leaks out eats away the IF transformers, the little very fine wire inside. I've managed to repair 3 now by soldering them back together, but it's a hell of a job. Anyway, shut up, Graham. Let's turn it on. Okay, well, we got some 150, which is the default. Absolutely no volume at all there. I push the squelch down to put it into auto squelch. Still nothing. So it's drawing 60 milliamps. So something somewhere is working. I mean, let's try one. Hang on, I've got to remember how to do this now. Direct 198. Execute. So that's let's make sure we're in AM wide. Yes, we are, but still nothing. So let me just get a pair of headphones a minute, and we'll try it on the headphones. Okay, well, I'm plugged into the headphones. And no, absolutely nothing. I did hear a little bit of noise though when I rotated it. Okay, no, that's just the power cutting out as I'm moving the power socket. So it's totally dead. So next thing really is going to be to get it apart and have a look inside. First to check the potentiometers, make sure they're okay, because you know that's going to add a fair bit of extra expense to the repair if I've got to strip those down and repair them. Not a nice job to do. Certainly you need some magnification to do that, although I have started managing to do it without using the microscope, so I can do it with magnifying glasses. So let's just unplug that then. So let's have a quick look over it. I mean, we've got a bit of scratching on the front panel, nothing major. All the text appears to be there. It's just looking at the condition of it. We've got the little strap holders, which is good, because a lot of these radios, people have taken that off for some reason. Let's have a look at the battery compartment. Bit of corrosion in there, so that'll need to go in the ultrasonic, but the little fingers in there, they're okay, which is a bonus. I've just done one of these recently, and the fingers, one of them had got quite a lot of corrosion on it, so that's okay. So we've got it set on the 9 kilohertz steps, and inside here there's a little button to put it into shift mode, which enables this this little frequency converter to work properly. It's real quirky. That I did promise the owner of one of these that I did a little demo video on how that actually works, because it does take a bit of getting used to. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the condition. It's going to need a good clean. I think I will clean it up. The area's a little bit loose on that screw, but you don't want it too tight. You know, there's a bit of marking around the edges here, but overall it's in pretty good condition. You know, it's got various dings and scratches on it, but it's a used radio end of the day. I can't remember what the date is on these now, but they are fairly old. And it's got the early generation electrolytics in it, so they do cause problems. So let me get it apart, and then join me again in a sec. Okay, well I thought I'd make this a little bit of an instructional video. Maybe it'll help someone have a go at one themselves, or it might persuade you to leave it well alone and just send it to me. So we've got 4 screws that hold this thing together. We've got 2 here, down in the battery compartment. And 2 up here. Hopefully don't whack the camera. And we've also got to take these little side screws out that hold the belt buckle on, or belt clip. I say it's quite good that they're actually here on this one. Okay, so that's all the screws undone. So this back panel should now lift off. And one thing you have got to note on these is there's a little quirky capacitor that joins onto one of the, you can just see it peeping through there, look. You can just about see it joined onto one of the pins just here, so you can't get it apart unless you desolder that, which is a bit strange. I don't know why they've done it. It's almost like an afterthought really. So let's pop that off, taking care not to burn the case. And now it'll come in half, so there we are. It's got a bit of glare on it. So first impressions, this is not the side of the board that's an issue normally. This is like the RF section, saying that we have got some electrolytics in here, but I can't see any sort of major corrosion around them. As I say, this is the RF board, I believe. or they call it, I think they call it the signal board. But yeah, nothing really jumping out as leaking bad. I mean, it's usually got a sort of fishy smell. And this hasn't. Okay. This hasn't got that. But yeah, the problem I've had in the past is this this IF transformer down here, formerly known as T11. This one, because it's in a little cluster of these SMD electrolytics, these all leak out. It leaches in underneath this and eats away at the very fine wire in that. But that one looks okay. Can't see any stickiness or wet on the board there. No, looking good so far. So next thing we need to do is get this board out. So I'm going to disconnect the connectors here, get these out of the way. We've got the speaker and then the power. You just got to pull a little tab up and then wiggle them out. That's one. Still got thumb issues here, so I'm in trouble with my right hand at the moment, but just wiggle them gently. There we are. So we can get rid of that piece. Nothing to do in there. This is where all the business end of it is. These are not a nice radio to work on, to be fair. So we've got a screw there, just in behind what used to be the battery compartment. These are all number 1 Phillips. They're all the same size as the back screws that hold the case on. So we've got another one here, just above the circuit board, in between the volume and squelch control. And let's just pop that speaker out the way so that doesn't get damaged. And we should be able to just lift this up and ease the whole lot out. Okay, it feels like it's sticking on the... Oh, hang on. No, we've got a bit of tape here, haven't we? Got to peel this tape off. Try again. There we are. Keep that the right way up because some of the buttons fall out else. Let's pop it over. So there's our display and keypad. This is pretty mucky actually, but we won't get into that for a minute. Let's get this lot apart. So we've got a flat flex cable here, so you need to be really careful of this. It goes all over the place. So what we're going to do is we want to get this board eased up so we can get in and have a look at the volume and squelch potentiometers. So what we need to do is just undo this screw. And swap it around and do this one. And that board should come apart like that. So there we are. You can see that little capacitor there now, look, on the side sticking up. Right, so we've got the other side. Now this is the side that usually causes problem. Now, to be fair, there's no corrosion in here. Well, saying that, yeah, that one does look a bit corroded there. Just there, but let's go and go in a bit closer now. I've got it off the bench. Yeah, so there's a slight bit of corrosion around this one, and this is the hardest one to get out really because it's right in beside these plastic connectors. The other area that's usually a problem is in underneath this wire in here. Got a cluster of 3, but again, not looking too bad. So I wonder if this one, the main issue might be the potentiometers. Right, so let me have a think. What's the best way to go about this? I think what we need to do is just pop these off, flip them over. I can get onto the pins of the potentiometer, then we can use the multimeter on ohms mode, resistance mode, and just see if these are actually working. So let me do that a minute. So we've got to pull the knobs off, if they'll come off. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to do that off camera. I'm just going to pull these two knobs off. Then it's got two back nuts, and that piece will come right out. Okay, well, I put a bit of WD-40 on there, and just let that soak in for a minute, and they come off quite easily. So the knobs, that is. So I've loosened these back nuts. We need to get the wires out. These are a bit tricky. I'm going to do this. So again, we've got to pull the little piece and then wiggle the connector out. So we just need to pull that locking tab and see if we can. Be careful, I don't want to yank the wires out of the connector. There's one, and the other one. Excuse fingers. There we go. That's the connectors off. Let's spin these nuts out of the way. Now these potentiometers are attached to a board, so they're not the easiest to pull apart, but I've shown it done on loads of videos. Whether we do it on this one as well, I don't know. We could do, couldn't we? Neighbour's out cutting the grass today. It's very good of him because he tries to avoid doing it on a Sunday because he knows I'm doing a live stream, but he doesn't know I'm recording a video today. So right, okay, let's get that out of the way. So here's our potentiometers. I'll flip it over. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Let's get the so the actual potentiometer piece is just on these first three pins here. So this is the squelch and this is the volume. It's marked SQL and VR. Center one's the wiper, one side's the ground, the other side's the input. Let's have a look, see if we can work out which one's which. Well, obviously that's the wiper. I would say that's the ground, and that's probably the input there. Let's have a look. Yes, I think that's the ground. So we should be able to measure the resistance of the track across the two outer pins on each one. So let's go to the front camera. Go to resistance. Stick me back. You can see my ugly mug for a minute. Right, so let's do the volume pot. I can't remember off the top of my head what these are. So that one's measuring 11k across it, pretty much. This is probably a 10k pot. They're not that accurate, these are plastic track things. And the squelch, 35k. Okay, bit of an unusual value. So let's measure the wiper then. First of all on the volume pot. So that's reading 11K, which is exactly the same as that. So it's open. So as we turn it, that should alter. Let me just get the knobs on a minute. So I ain't got the strength in my fingers to turn it without. So let's just check between the outputs. It's difficult to hold it and turn it at the same time. There's got to be an easier way to do this, but so let's just go from one extreme, measure from there to there. 11.1. Let's just measure it across that way as well. Okay, we've got 5.8 ohms there, so maybe I was just measuring the wrong one. So let's wind it all the way the other way. See if that's changed again. So maybe it's referencing it to ground. Okay, so that's 11. All the other way. 5. So it does look like that one's working. Let's check the squelch. So again, we'll do exactly the same. Okay. One ohm. Right the way around the other way. 35K. So again, it looks like that's working as well. So it doesn't look like it needs these stripping down. That's what I was trying to get at, really. So it looks like these are okay, because they are working. If they're falling apart, it would you just wouldn't get the readings. It'd be very erratic. Okay, to demo this a bit better, I've just got some probes clipped up to it. So I'm just going to rotate. That's the squelch one. Look, a bit of glare on the thing there. So that's some 35K down to 1. That's a bit of a jump there, but it is. Is this a linear or a log pot? I'm not sure. Okay, that one does appear to be working. Let's try the volume one, if I can hook the leads on. These clips are a bit awkward to get on, to say the least. It's not going to do it on this one, is it? No, it's not going to hook onto that, I don't think. No, it's not going to let me do it. Oh well. But as I say, we've proven that the other one's wrong. Okay, so we thought we'd have a quick look at the peak ESR meter and just see what some of these caps are like. I've got these tweezer SMD tweezers, which does help a lot with these type of capacitors. The trouble is they do slip down a little bit, so you've got to give them a yank back every so often. Right, so let's turn it on. So this first one, that's supposed to be 47. Can I get in there? Okay, over 40 ohms ESR straight away. We've got another 47 here. Over 40 ohms. Another one in there. Can I get in there? Difficult to get in this one because there's an IC right beside it. No, can't get in on that one. This one here, another 47. Over 40 ohms. Yeah, I think we've got our answer really. Let's try some of the ones on the other board. So this is the RF board, or signal board as they call it. 2.2. Open circuit or low capacitance. Okay, it is low, 2.2 that one. This is 2.2 as well. Doesn't measure these very well. No, another 22 this time. Okay, another high ESR again. Can't get in on that one, I don't think, can I? No, can't quite get in on that one. Another 22. ISR 47. Over 40 ohms. The last one on this board, another 47. Oh, it's actually not too bad ESR, but it's reading 60 ohms. So it's going to need a recap. There's no beating about the bush. It's difficult to do these because it is quite tiny. It is quite tiny, and ideally you want to take them off with a heat gun, but some of them are very close to plastic, like this one, so you can't get a heat gun in there because you melt all these connectors. These here are very close to this one. Again, excess heat might cause damage to that. So I think on some of these we're going to need to just twist them off. Others I can do with the heat gun. There's one here that's right by a plastic what do you call it, filter.